Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this is going to be our last seminar of this semester. If my voice sounds weird because of the mask, if it's muffled or anything, don't worry. I'm not going to be talking the whole time. It's going to be in the hands of some other good folks, and I'll introduce them in a minute. But before we get started with that, I have to share some information with you all. So I'll go ahead and get started with that. Now, I've locked the meeting so no one else can get in. If you'll have any problems, like if your Wi-Fi starts cutting out or something like that, you can send me a message through Zoom, and I'll be able to kind of work with you, figure something out. Just a heads up there. So this will also be recorded and will hopefully be put online sometime next week, hopefully. Either way, you're going to get an email this afternoon with some information about the presentation, the people who did it, and then kind of a confirmation for your instructors so that they have evidence, so that you have evidence that you attended in case you're getting grades or extra credit, anything like that. I also have to share with y'all. Y'all should be seeing my screen now. This is the fair use policy for the SWTJC technology and internet. So this is anything if you're using a college laptop, tablets, if you're actually somehow on campus using a computer, if you're using the Wi-Fi, your college email, anything like that, these rules apply for all of that. So I'm not going to go through every single one, just the ones that are kind of highlighted. Number one, you cannot use any of the college technology for illegal activity. That's pretty self-explanatory. Don't use it to buy or sell drugs, nothing like that, okay? Keep everything legal, keep everything classy. Number four, hate mail, discriminatory remarks, and offensive or inflammatory communication. Especially this week, which is election day, has become election week. Make sure you do not do anything related to this. If anyone does it to you, make sure to report it as soon as possible. This is not tolerated in any way. Number eight, impersonation of another user, anonymity, and pseudonyms. Before y'all were even allowed into this seminar, y'all had to make sure that your first and last name of the account was what your actual name was. And then some of y'all, I did have to clarify your ID numbers. Don't worry, you're not in any trouble. It's just if we have multiple students of the same name enrolled, we have to make sure, the ID numbers all match and everything. So don't try to impersonate anyone else. If someone else logs in as you and does something and you find out about it, report it right away. Don't wait until you get in trouble for it. Likewise, if you will get in trouble if you try to impersonate someone else, say you're someone else, all that stuff. So don't do it. And then finally, number 10, disruption of the work of other users. Any kind of Zoom or Teams meeting, ideally you do have your cameras on. Now, for those of you students who are observing, you don't have to in this particular case, but usually you want to have your camera on. Don't do anything crazy. Don't be sending everyone distracting messages, all that. So you can actually find this. I believe an email was sent out, and there's also like a blanket announcement on Canvas that you can access. These are, again, all rules. If you break any of these rules, there may be some sort of repercussions, something. So I'm also going to be having, so we have 3 presenters today. This is the Phi Theta Kappa Eta Beta chapter. Now, Phi Theta Kappa is an international honor society for 2-year schools. I was a member. I'm an advisor for it. Some of you may be members. Some of you may have gotten the letter. Some of you may be being inducted. Whatever the case may be. This is an honor society, and this semester, this year, I suppose, the Eta Beta chapter, so the Uvalde chapter, has decided to host this presentation for y'all. It's on financial literacy, especially for college students. Now, I know that a lot of college students tend to look at financial literacy as something, that's something for old people to worry about. Well, guess what, kids? Y'all are old now. Y'all are in college. Y'all have to start paying attention. So our 3 presenters are Miss Katrina Espinosa. Want to say hi or something, Katrina?
Hello.
And then we have Miss Lizette Gonzalez.
Hi, it's me.
And then Mr. Dimitri Gonzalez.
Hi.
I'm going to go ahead and get the PowerPoint going. And y'all should hopefully see us, if the button will. Are y'all able to see the actual PowerPoint presentation, or is it still in like the editing mode and everything?
No, we can see the power.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to them. If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat and, we'll get to it sooner or later. But guys, y'all can go ahead and do your thing now.
Okie dokie. Hello, my name is Katrina Espinosa, and I am the president of the Southwest Texas Junior College Eta Beta chapter.
Okay, I'm Lizette, and I'm the parliamentarian of the Phi Theta Kappa here at the college.
My name is Dimitri Gonzalez, and I'm the community service officer for Phi Theta Kappa at the junior college.
Okay. Welcome to our financial literacy seminar where you will learn financial basics for college students. This PowerPoint was made by the Southwest Texas Junior College Eta Beta chapter officers. Okay. I'm sorry to hear like weird noises in the background. I apologize for that. Okay, financial basics. Income. Income is basically the money that you receive, such as through employment, investments, or any business transactions. It is all the money that you receive at your job. So basically wages, salaries, profit, even tips and extra cash is all income. Social Security and unemployment compensations is also considered income. So compensations as a result of the coronavirus. Some individuals are given money, to help out and pay for any needs. That is all considered income. Okay, we have expenses. Basically, expenses is the outflow of your money. This is where you give money to another person or a group to pay off for an item or service or any category of cost. So utilities, rent, bills, insurance, benefits, taxes, goods, even your college tuition is an expense. It's basically money being spent or costs incurred. Okay, next slide. Okay. Here we have credit score and credit report. So your credit score indicates worthiness. This is a number that likely you are to borrow or repay. It is calculated based on the information in a borrower's credit report. It ranges from about 300 to 850. What goes into your credit score? Basically, it is your payment history, any amounts owned, the length of your credit history, any new credits, and also the type of credit you are using. All of these categories counts for a different percentage on your score. It is basically a percentage of whether you pay bills on time, how much more money you need to pay off, how long is it taking you to pay off all your debts. All of these categories are taken into account in your overall score. Okay, how do I build a credit score? So let's say I don't have any loans. How do I build my credit score? What you can do, an option is to open a secured credit card. Basically, it is a card backed by a cash deposit that you make up front. You use this card basically just like a regular credit card. You buy things, make a payment on it before the due date. If you do not pay your balance in full, you can also receive your deposit back when you close your account as well. Another way you could build your credit score is simply by opening a small loan and just paying it off. If you do have any more questions on how to build your credit score, you can also contact your bank and schedule for a free consultation with your financial advisor for your free financial planning. I believe the site where you actually can check your credit score is Equifax. One of my friends had told me that it's a good site to use. Okay, so next we have credit report. Basically, it is your financial history. It is a summary where like it has statements. The statement has all of your information about your credit activity and current credit situations. So loans, your paying history, and most people have more than one credit report. So everything calculated to figure out your credit score is on this report. So income, expenses, your credit limit, your loan amounts. I think one important thing is that your credit report is not the same as a bank statement. It doesn't show every specific withdrawal on your account. It's just only a summary. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, here we have credit and debit. So credit is basically money borrowed. It is the money borrowed for any purchases and that is paid back at a later date. This allows consumers to make purchases that they will not be able to afford the full price of. For example, the Discover card. When you swipe your card, the credit card company pays off the vendor for your purchase, and you will have to pay that credit card company back at a later date. Credit cards may require interest after due dates and penalties. You may have to pay for a penalty because maybe a payment wasn't made or maybe it was late. Using your credit card negatively can affect your credit score. So you have a limit to how much you actually can borrow. Next, we have debit. Basically, it is immediate withdrawal. This immediately withdraws funds from the user's bank account. Debit cards are less likely to contribute to excessive debt than of course the credit card, but users face fees if they are overdue to their account. For example, the Visa debit card. So let's say you swipe your card, the funds are immediately taken out from your account. You don't have to worry about any penalties as it is your own money. Here you can actually access as much money as it is available in your account. Okay. Here we have the checking account and savings account. So your checking account is your go-to transaction account. This bank account is where you can write checks, spend money regularly. Using this account, you can avoid fees. Usually a checking account offers automatic bill payment, as usually this is the account where money is being withdrawn to pay off something. So maybe your phone bill, let's see, maybe a car bill or anything like that. You can also use your checking account to make transfers to your savings account. So you can take money out of your checking account and put it in your savings account. So your savings account, of course, is where you save your funds. This is where you put your money that you're not ready to use yet, often with the goal of making more money. This usually grows your money when you remove funds from your checking account and you're less likely to overspend it. Okay. Take it away, Lizette.
Okay, so I will be talking about FAFSA. It is the free application for federal student aid. Okay, so if you need any sort of financial aid, this is your go-to. You should file a FAFSA application. You can, using the official site, studentaid.gov, you should apply as soon as it opens on October 1st, and it already opened this October, so make sure you apply. It's for the 2021-2022 application, and you will need your 2019 income tax and other private information in order to smoothly apply during your session. It's also important to know which colleges you'll want to send this information to, so make sure you have the college code down. This application will determine if you qualify for aid and if you will be eligible for grants and loans. One very important thing to note, that if you're applying to a university, there's a possibility they will not consider giving you a scholarship or financial reward if you have not filed for your FAFSA. So it's very important to file for your FAFSA. At the bottom of this slide, I put some instructions on how you can find the FAFSA link at the SWTJC website. So you go to SWTJC.edu, you hover over admissions and aid, and then you click on financial aid. And there it will take you to a whole bunch of financial aid links that you can use. And it also has the FAFSA website and scholarship links. So you can go ahead and use that. I highly recommend scheduling with an advisor to help you along with this process. If you need help, and in the next few slides, I'm going to go into loans, grants, and scholarships. Okay. Okay, so this is loans. A loan is when money is given to, for example, you, to a student in exchange for repayment plus interest, and that's very important. You'll be paying back the full amount that you borrowed plus interest. So you have to take that into account. This amount of money is usually borrowed from a bank. So here on the slide, I have 4 different loans. That is from the federal student aid. Okay, so loan number 1, subsidized loans are loans made to eligible undergraduate students who demonstrate financial need to help cover the cost of higher education or college or career school. Loan number 2, which is direct unsubsidized, are loans made to eligible undergraduate, graduate, professional students, but it's not based on financial need. So that's important as well. Loan number 3 is a plus loan, and these are loans made to graduate or professional students and parents of the dependent undergraduate to help pay for, the education expenses. Eligibility is not based on financial need, but this is where a credit check is required, okay? Loan number 4 allows you to combine all of these loans into one loan. So how much would you get if you applied for a federal loan? It really depends on your financial situation and where you are at educationally. So it depends if you are an undergraduate student, a graduate, professional, or if you're a parent. And when I looked it up, it ranged from $3,000 for dependents to $138,000 for independent, like professional students. Okay, so why should you apply? Here are a few reasons for the federal loans. The interest rate is fixed and it is usually lower than the private loans. No credit check or co-signer is needed for the loan except for loan number 3. You don't have to pay back your federal loans until after you leave college or you drop below half-time. So how do you apply for these loans? To apply for a loan, you must complete your FAFSA application. So you apply for FAFSA, and then if you qualify for the loan, you can apply for the loan. Next, I will be talking about a grant, what grants are. Okay. A grant is a sum of money given by the government or an organization for a particular purpose, such as research or education. So the Pell Grant is the largest federal grant program offered to undergraduates. It is designed to assist students from low-income households. And to qualify for this grant, a student must demonstrate financial need by completing and submitting the FAFSA. Super important, apply for your FAFSA. The next grant is a Teach Grant. This means Teacher Education Assistance for College and Higher Education. This grant provides funds for students who plan on pursuing a career in teaching and who agree to full-time work plus other requirements. Some grants are provided by the state, and in Texas, you can apply using the usgrant.gov. These grants are awarded to a specific needs such as business, education, housing, and veteran grants. Next, we have university grants. So some colleges and universities have their own specific grants for students. So for example, Texas A&M, I went to their website and I found a specific grant called the Texas Aggie Graduate Grant. And of course, one of the eligibility requirements to get this grant was that you have filed for the FAFSA. Super important. Here at Southwest Texas Junior College, we have a grant called Carl's D. Perkin. It is provided through SWTJC, The application for fall 2020, I believe, has already closed, but this grant is for qualified career and technical education students who show economic needs. So there's that. Next, I'll be talking about scholarships. Okay. A scholarship is a payment made to support a student's education, awarded based on academic or other achievements. So this financial support helps students go through college, or you can use it for personal needs depending on the scholarship. SWTJC has some scholarships, and again, you can find them at the swtjc.edu website. You go to admissions and aid, you hover over that, then you click on financial aid, and then on there, you look for the scholarship link. So universities, they want to help you, like save money. Then they have programs in place where they can provide you with opportunities such as scholarships. So at SWTJC, we have the TRIO Student Support Services, which I highly recommend you get in contact with them. They have mentoring, tutoring, and counseling services, and they can also help you with your FAFSA and financial struggles. So they are ready and willing to help you. If you want to get in contact with TRIO at SWTJC, you can send your questions to this email that I put on the slide, or you can also get in contact with Ryan. He's also a really great guy and he works at TRIO. So when should you apply for scholarships? Each scholarship has its own deadline, so it's important to check and do your own research ahead of time. How would you apply for a scholarship? Each scholarship has its own rules and certain ways of doing things, so you also have to do your own research. How do you get your money? Some scholarships, they make you put in your institution that you're attending, and they'll send it directly to the university or college, or they'll send it directly to you. So it's really also depending on the scholarship. On the slide, I put 3 little websites where you can access scholarships and financial aid: Going Merry, Unigo, and scholarships.com. Okay, thank you.
Okay, for the next slide, we're going to be talking about money management. The first bullet point is understanding your expenses. To be able to better manage your money, you first need to understand how you've been using your money. In order to do that, you need to keep tabs on anything you've been spending your money on. This could include things such as like food, gas, Netflix payments, Spotify payments, anything like that, or any service. The next bullet point is understanding your income. This means to have a full understanding of how much one is earning. Understanding how much you earn each check, as well as any other money coming in, is crucial to be able to manage your money or create a budget. The next bullet point is creating a savings account. Having a savings account is beneficial to anyone with any sort of income. Essentially what it is continuously putting a small amount of money into an account that is meant to be left alone. Also, a savings account will provide any financial safety net in the event of any financial crisis. And then the bullet point, last one, is keeping all documents in a safe place. Storing important documents such as tuition statements, credit reports, income tax forms, and refunds is extremely important. This can prove helpful when there's an error in your account and you need to correct it. These will help you correct it. And next slide. Okay, so now we're gonna be talking about personal finance planning. And you can see a little roadmap right there. And each cone is a step that you should be taking. The first cone is financial organization. What this means is essentially you have to have your money organized. It consists of having a full-fledged knowledge of where and how much money is coming in, as well as where your money is going. The next cone is saving. And saving simply means putting money to the side and not spending it. You can put a set amount of money from each check you earn into a savings account. The set amount can range from anywhere from $10 or even $100. Consistently putting money into the savings account is key to growing it. The cone after that is career/work income, which is just any money coming in from any work you do, any kind of job you work. The slide after that is spending, and monitoring how you spend your own money is key to eliminating unnecessary expenses. You can track how you've been spending by saving your receipts or even using a banking app. The cone after that is tax, and taxes are necessary payments made to the government. The government is supposed to use these taxes to better the public by building things such as better roads and helping fund the public education. The slide after that is investing. Investing is purchasing an asset with hopes of it being worth more in the future. You can invest in things such as stocks, real estate, or even physical items like baseball cards. Well, after that is insurance/protection. Insurance is an extremely useful asset for when things go wrong. Essentially, insurance is a service someone will continuously pay for. And when something goes wrong, like a car accident, a major injury, or even death, the insurance company will provide coverage for a large portion, if not the whole bill. And then the final cone is retirement planning. This is deciding where you want to be financially after retirement. After you know what your goal is, the next step would be to create a savings plan to work towards that goal. It's also good to consider things like expenses. And you go to the next slide.
Thank you, Dimitri. Okay, here we have money dues. So here we kind of put together some tips and tricks on maybe what to do with your money. So as explained in the previous slide of what Dimitri said, investing is a smart way to spend your money. Investing will help you more out in the long run. For example, investing maybe in a stock can help you out. And individuals could buy a stock at a cheap price, and they could get back more than what they spent in a certain amount of time. When investing, you actually do not have to buy the full stock. You can do something that is called fractional shares. That is basically when you just only buy a portion of a stock. So below where it says investments, I included a short 4-minute video explaining a little more in depth of what investing is. This video is part 1 of a series of videos, all of which explain how to start investing and just giving tips and tricks on how to build your money. Ryan, do you think you could go to the link? Please.
Yeah, it's loading. Do y'all see the video?
Mm-mm.
Are y'all able to see the video?
No.
No, we're still looking at the PowerPoint.
Hold on. Hi, Louisa. How about now?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, great.
We can see it. We can't hear
We
it.
can hear it.
Do you think you could turn it up a little bit more, Ryan?
Does that work?
Yeah, it's better.
I don't hear anything. Okay, thank you, Ryan. I know it was a little hard to hear, but if you want to watch the video and again, or maybe you enjoyed the video, um, or you found it very helpful, I would recommend watching the rest of this series as this is only part one. This will like show you and you can learn more about investments, and I will also put the link to this video in the chat in a bit. Okay, the next on money dues is, sorry about that, credit score. As explained in, I believe it was slide 3, you want to, of course, keep up with payments and pay off any debts. This will help you maintain your credit score. With a good credit score, you can actually enjoy a lower interest rate on your credit cards, loans, or any large purchases. For example, let's say you want to buy a brand new car. In order to buy this car, they require a large down payment and of course your regular monthly payments plus interest. If you have a good credit score, you actually may not have to pay that large, not too large of a down payment or a high rate of interest, since you have a good credit score. Since you have a good credit score, they will trust you and they will trust you to make all the payments on time and correctly and responsibly. A good credit score allows you to save money on insurance, security deposits on new utilities, and cell phone services. Overall, it is extremely important to use your credit wisely and responsibly. Next, we have earn more than you spend. So it's just the way it sounds. If we are buying whatever we want and just living paycheck to paycheck, you'll find it difficult to have financial independence. If we constantly earn, they spend more. Sorry, let me see here. If we constantly spend more, then we won't be able to save any money. So, for it's not this. Although I'm so sorry, I'm like lost right here. Basically, if you earn more than what you spend, this enables you to retire and sustain a comfortable standard of living. For example, let's say you earn $300 in your paycheck, you pay off all your bills. You do not want to go off and spend the rest of your money on buying clothes and fancy shoes. Next, we have creating an emergency fund. First off, an emergency fund is not the same as a savings account. A savings account is more for like those what if moments, and an emergency fund is set aside for a big unexpected expense. So let's say you lose your job, or maybe you got hurt in a car accident. This provides a financial buffer to shield you against unwanted debt. Okay, and your turn, Dimitri.
All right. Could you go to the next slide, Ryan?
Trying to, it's frozen.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Money don'ts. The first one is unnecessary purchases. So buying things like going out to eat, going bowling, buying, I don't know, just random stuff. That's a guaranteed way to lose a lot more money than you already have, and you won't be saving very much. Having no financial plan, that's okay. But when things go wrong, that's when it's a really bad thing because you won't have any backup. You won't have any savings account, emergency fund, anything like that. Spending more than you make, that's also pretty self-explanatory. If you're spending more than you make, you're going to lose all your money and end up going broke. Not budgeting that's an easy way to not keep track of your money, and you'll end up spending it unnecessarily, like just buying things at convenience stores and stuff like that. And relying on credit cards, that's a good way to go into debt because many people don't actually pay attention to how much they're spending and then end up overspending, and then they go into debt. And that's all right.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this PowerPoint. There we go.
Okay, on our next slide, we have any questions. So do y'all guys have any financial plans? Do y'all guys invest, or has anyone got into debt and survived? Does anybody want to share? It's okay if nobody doesn't. How about you, Ryan? Any tips or tricks or any comments?
So I stopped sharing just because it's not letting me see the chat and the PowerPoint at the same time. So really, I think kind of a big thing is there was a rule, it was on the money dues. Earn more than you spend. Remember, guys, a part of what you earn is yours to keep. So that's just coming from personal experience. If you're spending more money than you're taking in, or you're spending exactly what you're taking in, at the end of the day, you're going to end up with no money, and nobody wants that. So definitely make sure you're saving some money.
Okay, if anybody wants to share, y'all can unmute. Well, I can share something. I started investing in stocks for the first time. Just like Katrina said, I don't buy full stocks. I buy fractional shares because stocks can be very expensive. And it's good for the long run because your money is making money. So like a few years down the road, I'll have made more money that I put in. So it's a good backup plan. So I recommend you can get in contact with your bank and you can start investing. They'll help you with that.
I guess another tip I would like to emphasize, I believe it was on the money management side. Keep all your financial documents. It is very important that you keep those. From personal experience, I remember I was going through my bank statements and I was looking at my tuition statements and all the reports that the college and that my bank has sent me, and I realized that I was actually missing my $300 scholarship. If I did not have those reports and if I did not have those statements, I would have not known that I was missing $300. So I want to emphasize it's extremely important to always look over your statements and just a quick look just to make sure everything is correct, because you never know, you might be missing some money. That's all. I know I stutter a lot. I just got my braces, so I'm still kind of trying to get like used to them.
Okay.
And I had someone messaging that they were unable to unmute themselves. They should be, you should be able to unmute yourselves if there's any questions y'all have or anything y'all want to say.
I think
Oh, sorry. Well, since I'm 18 and I've had a job already for 2 years, I thought that maybe it would be easy to save, but it's extremely hard because, at least for me, sometimes my parents need money. Or sometimes you just spend money like on food and it just goes away like water. Well, like, do you have any tricks or like any tips that you would recommend us to not spend as much? Like, how do you not spend?
Um, for me personally, me and my family, we basically live paycheck to paycheck. So, um, I've slowly, for me, every paycheck, I just put as any amount as I can, $10, $5, I put in my savings account. It's not much. Oh, sorry about that. It's not much, but if you keep doing it regularly, it will, it'll slowly start to build up. So, you know, create building up your savings account and building up your funds. It's not gonna take like 1 year. It's gonna take quite a while, but it just takes time, and also sacrifices. Maybe like for me, I personally like I choose maybe not to eat out every weekend, just to save a little bit more money as well. And me, I sometimes have to help out my family, and I know some other college students may have to as well. But maybe just putting like $5, $10 into your savings account, it will build up slowly but surely. Anybody else?
Oh yeah, one thing that I would also recommend is when I was trying to save money, I would actually use a budgeting app. I think it's called like Daily Budget or something. It has a little piggy icon on it. But you basically put in how much you have right now and then how much you want to save, and it'll give you how much money you can spend throughout the day. And if you don't spend that full budget, that full like budget for the day, then that'll also carry over to the next day. So you'll have more to spend the following day. And it's just an easy way to keep track of how much you have to spend, and it'll help you save.
What was the app called?
I think it's called like Daily Budgeting or something like that. It has like a little piggy icon on it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I also recommend, I know some banks, they have like an app that really helps, because I know it's sometimes like such a hassle, to call the bank and say how much money do I have in my account. It's so much easier to just get an app. You can just like see how much money you're spending. You'd be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have bought that. I won't okay, next month I won't buy as much, or next month I'll be careful. So just keeping track and looking at what you're spending like daily will actually help out in the long run as well. Does anybody else have any questions?
Okay,
Um,
go ahead.
oh, sorry. Um, I still haven't applied for any credit cards yet. Do you have any specific sites that you'd recommend?
Ooh, I can answer this one. I got my first credit card through my bank, and I didn't have a credit score. So they helped me get a credit card even though I didn't have a credit score. It's called a secured credit card. And so I had to put a deposit down, and that the amount that I put down was the credit card limit that I can use. And so with that, I was able to build a credit score. I don't know any credit cards specifically, but you can get in contact with your bank if you have one, if you bank with anybody.
Alrighty, because I heard that Discover was pretty good for like starting off credit cards.
Mm.
But yeah, thank you.
Me personally, I bank with security service, and debit. I think it's debit MasterCard is what I have. I mean, they're a really good bank. I like them. They have an app and everything. I would say if you don't have a card yet, maybe if your family banks like with a certain company, you could tell them maybe to put it in their name or something like that. That's what my family did with me. And then, as I grew up and I turned 18, they put it fully in my name. So I don't know, maybe that might help out a little bit.
And
Yes, of course, thank you.
and I just want to give my 2 cents as well, as someone who's been doing the credit card game for, this is year 3 now. You don't necessarily need to have a credit card, but if you do get one, remember that the biggest thing is going to be your own self-discipline. You need to, you can't walk through and say, oh, that jacket looks awesome. Oh, that, computer looks awesome, whatever the case may be. You need to be very on the ball with all of your spending, because with a credit card, you can easily spend way more than you planned on.
It's because I heard some really good advice. I think it's use your credit card as a debit card. Do you think that's good?
Yes. I only spend what I have in my checking account. So you only spend what you have, and then you're able to pay that back.
I see. Okay, thank you.
And are there any other questions? Well, all right, guys. Thank you, Katrina, Dimitri, and Lizette, for presenting this to us. For everyone else, don't worry. Like I said, you're going to get an email with some information that they talked about. All the links and everything in the PowerPoint are going to be included in the email as well, so you can use those, as well as some contact information for who to get a hold of to kind of get started on this path to financial wellness and wealth. If you have any questions, you can always just respond to the email that you're about to receive. And thank you all.